And we're live. Welcome everyone to the third Startup TNT Cleantech Investment Summit in partnership with Foresight and many other partners. Let's give a big round of applause to Amy for hosting us in this amazing space. Okay, we have a really exciting program tonight, but I am just here to do a little bit of a warm-up, and I'm really happy to share that we have three amazing companies from our very first summit way back on 2/20/2020, February 20th, 2020, over 3 years ago, here to join us on stage. Let's have a big round of applause for Matt Anderson Barron from Future Fields. Christopher Reck, come up on stage. Christopher Robson from Wyvern. And Anthea Sargent from 2S Water. Welcome. Grab a seat. Okay. All right, let's kick it off with how you guys got started. Let's go to Matt. Matt, I remember back in 2019, I was sitting on my kitchen table, reading the Edmonton Journal, which I used to get. I'm younger than I look. And I saw this article about this local entrepreneur, a bit of a fitness buff, but he was building a company to make meat in a petri dish. That was back in 2019. Tell us a little bit about that entrepreneur and that company.
Yeah, okay, I'll try to keep it brief because it could get long. Short story is, I didn't know I wanted to be an entrepreneur until I was one. I was halfway through grad school, wrapping up my PhD. Didn't really know what I wanted to do after that. Knew I didn't want to be in academia anymore. And I didn't know anything about startups, didn't know that's what I wanted to do. And then I stumbled on the field of cellular agriculture, which is, more colloquially known as lab-grown meat, but it also extends to other animal products. And that got me really excited. That was something that I was really passionate about, and I could take this skill set that I was developing in grad school and apply it to something I really cared about and was excited about. What was next, I didn't really know. Found two other people who were interested in this field. One of them was my wife, and then the other was a friend of mine, Leggy. And we just kind of organically, through conversation, decided to start a company. Again, didn't really know what that entailed, but it just meant, hey, let's try something. And so the first iteration was we were going to make chicken in the lab by growing cells. And so my supervisor at the time was really supportive. He let me tinker in the lab evenings and weekends when I wasn't doing my thesis work. And so I started trying to prototype and make chicken nuggets, and made a couple of those. They were very expensive. Didn't eat any. And through that process of prototyping, realized firsthand the big challenges of that space, which you might know is cost and scale. Basically, the inputs that go into the process are very expensive, and they are hard to procure large amounts of them. So we decided to focus on how do we make those inputs cheaper and more scalable, and specifically these things called growth factors. These are signaling molecules that stimulate cells to grow. Started focusing on that, came up with an idea of how to do that, which is bugs, basically engineering bugs to produce these biomolecules, specifically fruit flies. And then we can extract and purify those molecules out of them. And fast forward a little while later, in between that time was this article, and there's a lot of things in between, but that was basically the start of it. And so we just came up with this idea of using Drosophila fruit flies to produce proteins, and then it kind of snowballed from there. And then we got to the TNT summit, where it was not much more than that. It was 3-4 people and an idea. And for some reason, you guys funded it. Hopefully, you don't regret
we
that
did
decision
really
yet.
intense due diligence, Matt.
Yeah,
Like, we looked hard at this company.
They did. Anyways, I'll pause there. That was the step one, part one of the Future Fields journey.
All right, thank you, Matt. Let's go to Chris. When I first met you, Chris, you were chugging massive glasses of milk and launching satellites as a graduate student at the U of A. Tell us a little bit about your origin story.
Well, you do lose lots of calcium in space, Zach. Anyway, so myself and my co-founders, we had actually come out of the University of Alberta building and launching satellites. And I was speaking with, so after I was doing my master's degree, and I was speaking with my now co-founder, Kristen, who was doing her master's degree in Toronto at the time, over dinner. And I had briefly explored satellite imagery in the past. And one of the things I found is that there was this crazy satellite imagery technology called hyperspectral imagery. You could see the chemistry of whatever you looked at. You could measure chemical processes or identify materials or chemical signatures, which is great if you want to do something like figure out there's a disease in a field of wheat before the disease actually appears to your own eyes. Anyway, so I figured out there was a good business to have here, but I couldn't quite figure out the technology piece of it. And so I was sitting with my co-founder, Kristen. Kristen was telling me about this other technology she was doing called deployable optics. You take a big telescope, you fold it down, you unfold it once it gets to space, save a lot of money on launch, but also you get a really big telescope that can see things really nicely. Anyway, we put 2 and 2 together, and that's how we started. We called about 50 customers, talked to them about the issues that they had in the space industry from other imagery providers. We started narrowing in on what our core value proposition was, and the first thing we did is we won this grant program called Green STEM, and that's when we were able to go full time. So that was back in. So I quit my PhD shortly after that because I was getting one. It was more interesting to do this, but I was also getting paid more. Anyway, so fast forward to the first Startup TNT Summit. That's probably the first time we pitched, and as you know, we came back for a second one, and that's where things really got rolling. So we raised our pre-seed round, and that's also when we started to actually grow and become vibrant as we are today. And now it's only 3 weeks till the first launch.
Still launching satellites. Okay. All right, let's go to Anthea. Anthea, we met, I remember at multiple Startup TNTs. You pitched at the very first summit, and I remember getting a tour of your first prototype at the U of A before it had been in the field or anything like that. Tell us a little about your origin story. I know it's a family affair as well.
Yes, so I worked with my father, who is also my co-founder, because when you're having fun, why stop? We are heading to the oil and gas industry, and we were tired of doing this thing. You know, it goes great, everybody's happy, it crashes, everybody's sad. And I saw this opportunity. So I walked into my father's office one day and I said, you know, we should start a business. We each came within a separate goal. So I wanted to be environmentally conscious. I wanted to leave a legacy that I could feel proud of. And my father wanted monthly recurring revenue because it takes two types to start a business. So we went looking for an idea. And this was the one that continued to rise to the top as it had a huge market. Lots of people needed it. We have a sensor that detects metals in water in real time. Should probably add that to the story. It's massively needed in heavy industry. It's massively needed in municipal applications. We found a technology that we thought we could commercialize. And we did a lot of customer discovery calls and visited a lot of water treatment facilities. And sure enough, there was an actual need for this technology. So we took our paper down to the U of A and said, can you help us commercialize this? And they said, yes, sure. And that was how we started. And now we're a long way from there, aren't we? Geez.
Yeah, so elaborate for us. Where are you today? What's going on at 2S Water?
So we've taken that lab prototype, we made it into a real machine that can go into the field. We're deployed at a customer site in Colorado. We're also got one in northern Quebec. We have 6 more deploys coming up in the next 6 months here, all with multinationals, all going through the validation process. So we found our product market fit, which is such a lovely feeling. And now it's prove everything that we said we could do, and away we go.
Congratulations. So laboratory prototype to selling to some of the biggest mining companies in the world. Okay, Chris, what's going on at Wyvern today? You guys have made some funding announcements. You just hinted at a launch of some kind. What's going on? Paint us a picture.
Yeah, for sure. So Wyvern is about 30 plus people now. We've got our first 3 satellites launching this year. The first one's going up in 3 weeks on a SpaceX launch vehicle out of Vandenberg Space Force Base, which is really fun to say. I've never thought I'd say Space Force Base. Yeah, I know, right?
I thought that was only in satirical comedies.
No, this is real, sir. Anyway, so we're launching our first satellite in April. Next 2 are going up at different periods later this year. We've got some large contracts to fulfill those satellites, so it's going to be great to start getting some data from space and streaming it to Earth. And yeah, we're mostly based in Edmonton now. We've got some folks all over the country. We hired our first 2 US people. It's been pretty crazy how fast things have been growing.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna ask you a bonus question since we're at Amy. How are you using AI in your technology?
Well, so right now we're not.
What? Amy, you gotta fix this.
I am joking a little bit. AI is actually really important for the hyperspectral imagery part, because you can see all sorts of crazy things with hyperspectral imagery, and normally it would take, of course, somebody with incredible amounts of knowledge with PhD level experience to build those algorithms. But what we've been doing recently is with some of the sample imagery that we collected via drone last summer, is we've been building algorithms that help identify plant species like at very, very high granular detail. So that's been a side project we've been working on. Otherwise, so far we're still pretty, what's the word? Human in the loop.
Okay. All right, let's go to Matt. Tell us a little bit about what Future Fields looks like today. You just had, I think 2 weeks ago, a massive announcement. What happened?
Yeah, so we just closed our second big funding round. Similar to Wyvern, we're about 35 people now. So it's come a long way since 3 to 4 people at our summit event. It's hard to describe all the changes that happened in a succinct manner, but a lot's happened because, again, when we were at that first summit, we were just an idea. Like, we had proven very little in terms of the technology. So the team's done a fantastic job of just building an incredible technology and something that's usable and can actually make products now, because we've launched our first few products. But the biggest change was we went from being really focused on the cell ag and lab grown meat market to now expanding to kind of more of a industry agnostic biomanufacturing platform. Because the things that we make are used in things like industrial enzymes, human health research, therapeutics, insulin, for example. Insulin is produced with the technology that we have. So we saw a big opportunity there. So we've largely expanded the aperture of the company to looking at more than just the lab grown meat space, where was our beachhead market. And now we're really focused on things like human health research. We just soft launched our first human protein for supporting human stem cells. So if you grow any stem cells in the audience, hit me up. I'll give you a
lot of stem
free
cell grows
vial.
out there. A lot of stem cell grows. Matt, can I ask you a follow-up question to this? I kind of want to discuss it with all the panelists. This might be the last question because I know we got some awesome pitches to see, but everyone who's pitching tonight is going to face this in the next few years. Going from a 3-person team to a 35-person team, leading and managing that team, that's actually a really big ask for you as an individual. What are you doing to stay on top of your leadership management skills?
It's hard. It's a big transition. Going from being a doer to a manager is a tough transition, especially for anyone who's used to doing things with your hands. Being someone who's used to holding a pipette and doing experiments, seeing results, and then stepping away from that to management and kind of needing to, as the CEO, needing to keep your head above the clouds and always kind of thinking about the big picture. It's a big transition and it takes some time. I'm still figuring it out transparently, but it's a process. It takes some time to be comfortable with that and acknowledging that that's not your job anymore. Your job is everything you do should be 10xing, potential to 10x the company, not 1x, checking off tasks. It's about, high leverage stuff that you need to be focused on at all times.
That sounds like some really prescient advice, I should say. Okay, Chris, what about you? Share with us your journey here into CEO.
It's been pretty challenging. And same Matt, it's going from being, like Matt said, a doer to a manager. It's, I was so used to jumping in and just solving a problem. And like now when I do that, it actually slows things down because I don't necessarily have all the context of the situation. It's really, it's almost like, if especially everybody in the audience who might like cookies or donuts, you see something, you see a tasty donut, you want to grab it, you want to eat it. It's sort of, that's what it's like when you see a task you really want to do, especially when it involves spreadsheets. For me anyway, if it involves spreadsheets, I want to jump in and do it. The problem is though, is when I do that, my team has already been engaged in it. I actually slow them down. It's when I go down into the organization and I pull somebody apart who's on the front line from what they're doing and say, hey, what's going on with this? I might actually be doing a disservice to them because they should be spending time doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I should just go and ask somebody on my executive team and wait for an answer. And, to Matt's point, stepping back and actually thinking about the strategy of the organization and making deals that are going to 10x the organization, that's the transition I've been working towards. I'm still not quite there, but it was very difficult to go from that in the course of a year when we went from like 8 people in like September 2021 to now 30 plus people now. It sounds like a long time, but it wasn't.
Thanks, Chris. And Anthea, what about for yourself? How's this journey been? I felt like you were sort of a natural salesperson when we met you, but tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, and I think it may be a little bit easier since I came from a business background, so I wasn't hands-on on the pipettes at any time. The lab know to keep me out of there. But it's still a huge transition. There's still a huge change, and it's only going to continue from here as we hit scaling to do more and more different tasks. And I think I just really rely a lot on education and a lot on mentorship. I'm seeing the Foresight banner over there. They've been pivotal for us, making sure that we have the right kind of guidance and the right kind of leadership. And my mentor there always says CEO's job is to beat the drum and make sure everybody moves at the right pace. And that's been the attitude I'm taking. I have competent people who know what they're doing. So it's just making sure we're all pointed in the same direction and moving at the same drumbeat.
All right, well, Anthea, on the note of moving at the same drumbeat, I think this panel is out of time. So let's thank all of our panelists. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations, all your success the last 3 years. And I think it's time to welcome Neil and Jade to the stage. They're going to take over. Should we take our chairs with us? All right, we got room to move here.
Yes, well, welcome everyone.
Right.
Zach did the announcement, and welcome here to Amy and Neil and I. We're very excited to be here. Not only are we importing up here from Calgary, we get to feel the excitement of a playoff hockey team. excitement of the best clean tech summit out of all three of them, in our opinion. But we're very, very excited to be here. My name is Jade Alberts. I'm an investor. I'm an entrepreneur who's been lucky to be part of 4 exits. I do a lot of fun things in the ecosystem. I'm always willing to help, and I'm always willing to give back. But we are going to kick this off tonight, powered by our friends at Foresight. We thank you very much for being at this, supporting our 3rd annual Clean Tech Summit. So, Neil.
Totally. Thanks. And thanks, Zach, for stealing it. I always look forward to the "and we're live" part, and the plan was for me to do it, but Zach took it from me.
Do it.
Okay. You guys ready? Can you cheer after I do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're live. Thank you. Thank you. It's always one of my favorite parts of this job. So we're here for the Clean Tech finale. So we have 2 other finales happening tonight. We got life sciences happening in Calgary. We got ag tech happening in Regina. That means that there are 15 amazing prairie companies going to be pitching across the prairies. Here tonight, we're going to see 5 awesome clean tech companies pitch. And it's going to be a ton of fun. So if you've joined here expecting to see life sciences or ag tech companies, you're in the wrong spot. But you're more than welcome to stay. It's going to be a ton of fun, and we welcome you here. But if that's what you're here to see, then maybe jump online and check out those streams. Because tonight's all about clean tech startups. I need to find the clicker, and then we are going to keep moving this program along.
Yeah, don't leave. This is going to be the best summit anyway. So, just as an FYI,
we're not biased at all. All right. Well, first of all, I want to take a little bit of time to appreciate where we are. So telling stories is an integral part of what we do here at Startup TNT and in our community at large. We're going to be sharing a lot of stories tonight, both during the pitches and after. And even though we're not all physically in the same venue as we are with the rest of the community, we're still connected through the one land that we share, no matter where we are. So tonight we honor those elders whose stories this land carries, and we acknowledge this land as the traditional territories of People's Treaty 1 through 11, covering all the prairies and those beyond, depending where in Canada you're joining from. We acknowledge that this land was a traditional meeting ground, gathering place, and traveling out to the Anishinaabe Cree, Oji Cree, and Dene peoples. We acknowledge the nations of the Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota Sioux, the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai, the Tsuut'ina, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who walked this land before us, who lived in this land, and we aim to create a safe space for all Indigenous communities, and we honor their mission tonight to gather and tell stories.
Yeah, and tonight, the agenda is going to be pretty straightforward. To do introductions, some pitches, some investor deliberation. Hopefully we won't take too long. Hopefully maybe only 30 or 45 minutes. But again, while you're out there, you'll be eating some food, making some friends, networking. That's what we're all here for. And of course, we'll come out, announce the winners, and then we'll have a little shaker afterwards. So the TNT effect, let's talk about this a little bit. I mean, this was started by Zach when he had no friends back in 2019. He just really needed friends. So what he did is he said, I'm going to make them come to me. So he started a little happy hour, and before you know it, this turns into a summit, and it turns into the first summit. And now we're how many summits later are we now, Neil? 6 or 7?
Oh, this is
12?
We've done 19 so far.
19, there we go. I'm way off, right? Way off. But we've been around here now for 202 weeks, hosting weekly happy hours across 5 cities. This is my favorite stat, is that we have brought together 250 new angel investors into our ecosystem. And in my opinion, that is the most impressive number out of all of them. Yes, the $9 million into 65 companies is great, but you know what? These investors are now starting small. They're going to grow with you as companies. They're going to grow as investors, and they're going to realize how fun it is investing in these great companies. Way to go, Zach.
And we don't do this alone. So if we look at just this summit over the last 4 months, we've had amazing organizing partners that you'll see on the slide here and on the next one that have really worked hard with us to make sure this is a success, both in terms of investors, in terms of the community, in terms of support, and especially in terms of the founders. So we're eternally grateful to Foresight. David's going to come up here in a little bit and do a chat about what they do. But they've been working with us for 3 years now. This is our 3rd annual Clean Tech Summit, and Foresight's been with us from the beginning. They do a ton of great work in the clean tech space in general, and we're really grateful for that relationship. We also want to thank a few of our BFs and BFFs. The folks at CBRE also were with us since Zach was, he must have made a friend at CBRE during that first happy hour, and they've been with us the whole time as well. our friends at Accelerate Fund. We also have Yasmin in the audience. We have our friends from SCDC and our friends in Calgary at Good Lawyer who are doing some great things as a startup that we invested in the fall are also helping us. And we're also grateful, eternally grateful to our core funding partners who also allow us to do this as a job. It's pretty cool.
I don't get paid.
That's right. And with that being said, I'd like to invite David with Foresight up on the stage. He's going to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. Some of you know me. I'm new to a bunch of you. My name is David Yiptong. I'm the regional director for Foresight in Alberta. And we're really, really excited to be working with TNT and all the other partners for this event. Just so you know, Foresight, we're a clean tech accelerator. Our goal is to help Canada become the first G7 country to hit net zero. There's a lot of work to do, but that's why you're all here. And I think that's why there's a lot of excitement in the room. I promised Neil I would keep this short. So let's skip ahead because this is, the Cleantech Summit was really put out to, the ask was put out to the prairies. And what I want to share with you is that just our own organization, and this is by no means 100%, but just our organization since 2019 has worked with over 2,000 companies in the prairies. But look at the revenue number that these companies have generated. And this is only 89 that have replied to us. The others, they didn't respond. But of the 89 that replied, look at the impact they have. $187 million in revenue and $36 million in exports. And all of you are they all started just like you. So I think there's a huge amount of potential here. For all of you, I want to thank all the companies who applied because we're going to see 5 companies tonight, but there were way more, a much larger number of companies that applied. And what I want you to all remember is that there are still opportunities to raise. I know there are people here in this room that only got money on their third, was it the third summit? Yeah, sometimes it takes more than one shot. So don't be discouraged. If you did apply and you didn't make the top 5, we do encourage you to apply again. But what I want you to look at is the Foresight 50. That is a list of the 50 most investable clean tech companies across Canada. That call out will be made again in the summer. So if you're interested to learn more about some of the companies that are currently on the list, you can go to our website. There's a pitch book you can download. And if you're a company that is looking to raise this year, keep your eyes and ears peeled for the next call out, which will be happening towards the end of the summer. Another thing, 42. It's not just the answer to everything. 42% of the companies on the Foresight 50 came from the prairies. So think about that. Not from Ontario, not from BC, 42% came from the prairies. So it shows the impact that, the 3 provinces that we have here can actually put together. My ask for all of you, here are some of the things that are coming up, but the big ask is if you're in Alberta, you can go to this website. Foresight's putting together for the very first time in Alberta, the Alberta Clean Tech Awards. And we want this to be a community-driven event. So instead of this being, hey, these are the top startups, we want to give you, the startups, the opportunity to say, who's been a great first adopter? Who's been a great funding support? Who's been a great ecosystem supporter for you? You get a chance to recognize the people that have helped you along the way. So if my ask of you is to definitely go nominate someone that has helped your company or that you feel is really moving the needle in clean tech in the province. There will be an event in Alberta, in Calgary on the 27th. We also have some Foresight 50 virtual pitch panels. So if you want to meet, if you're an investor and you want to meet some of the companies that were part of the current Foresight 50, you can do so by signing up at this investor-only pitch event. One last thing is that the Foresight 50, the list of 50 most investable clean tech companies in the country, that event will be happening in Calgary this year in November. But enough of my yakking. Let's get the real show on the road.
Oh, thank you, David. Yeah, and then 27th, anybody you guys are tired of watching playoff hockey again, come down to Calgary on the 27th and then join us for this Clean Tech Awards.
All right, thanks, David. Okay, so I wrote a few words down about why invest in startups. So there's a lot of reasons, obviously. So raising early stage capital is really difficult. We want to give more companies the opportunity to build here in our own communities, to hire here, to live here, and to thrive here. We support local entrepreneurs, which in turn supports our local economy and brings further investment into our local communities. Startups need to know that they have the opportunity to raise that vital early stage capital in the communities where they and their families live, and to build it here. And we want to make it accessible and as simple as we can for investors to get involved, to support these awesome companies. And we want to invest more than just capital. And that's where all you listening and all you folks in the room come in. These awesome founders need support. They need introductions and connections and industry experts and people to tell them that they're doing a great job. They need people to tell them when they're doing things that are a little bit awkward that they might need to change. They just generally need support from a community to make themselves successful and to do the amazing things they're doing. They need peers and supporters who can help solve problems in real time. And if I look at all the folks in this room, I'm really blown away at the potential to help these companies in both capital and non-capital ways. So that's why I like to invest in startups. And I know there's a lot of people in the community that agree with that.
And I say this all the time, whether I'm talking to startups to come in here or investors or whoever it may be, the people that you're going to meet, the help that you're going to receive is going to be way, way more than the money that you're going to get. Yeah, money's nice, but you know what? You're going to get introductions. You're going to meet people. Like you meet Neil, he says, "Oh, I can't help you. I'm going to introduce you to someone else." I mean, it's priceless. And as an investor, and I relate more to the actual entrepreneurs that are up here. But I mean, I remember my first summit when I did it was just, Neil and I were in the same one, and I was like throwing $5,000, like, holy Jesus, like, I don't even know who's in this summit. Like, what am I going to do? But you know what? It's like you're throwing it in, and you know that there are so many great things going on in this ecosystem, so many great companies, and putting it up there, you always seem to invest more, but it is so good to put that $5,000 up and go and listen to these great companies and have them and perform and collaborate with them. And of course, that $5,000 will turn into, real dollars for these, a handful of these founders tonight. And that is, makes a big, big difference as well.
Totally. So how it works, like Jade said, each investor is pre-committing $5,000 again before seeing any companies, which is pretty cool if you think about that in itself. The investors over the last 8 weeks have been collaborating and performing due diligence on these companies. We had a large volume. We don't like publicly disclose it. There's a ton of companies that applied to this Cleantech Summit. And the 5 companies you're going to see here tonight are all selected by the group of investors as being the ones they think are most investable and the ones they're most excited to support. So with that being said, we have this next slide here has the next 5 companies, but you're going to get to know them. We're a little bit behind schedule, so I'm not going to dwell on this one too long, and I'm going to get to what the pitches look like. So each company is going to get 6 minutes in total. The goal for them is to spend 4 minutes of that pitching with a 2-minute Q&A period after. If they take a little less on the pitch, it'll take a little bit more on the Q&A and vice versa. But we're going to see 6 minutes per company over the next 45 minutes or so. To the audience, please cheer these entrepreneurs on. Keep the energy high. Make sure that they know that you guys have a lot of love for them. Introduce yourself to people around you. Our tagline is have fun, make friends, and build companies. And that make friends piece is really important tonight. So meet somebody that you're sitting next to in the social hour. Meet somebody that's pitching tonight, one of the investors, and have a ton of fun. If you want to contribute to the bar tab and support buying a drink for the community, it's an e-transfer to cheers@startuptnd.com. Zach likes that one. All right, so let's get the pitches started. So our first co-host for tonight is Adam with Amy. So let's hear another round of applause for the amazing space that we have here. He's going to be introducing the first pitcher. And then for Q&A, we have none other than TNT co-founder, the man with potentially the best sideburn game in Alberta, and a doctor that you should never, ever take medical advice from, Dr. Zach Storms.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us here in our beautiful space at Amy. I'm the product owner of startups here at Amy, and my team works with startups to help them explore, build, and commercialize machine learning technologies. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about how your company can leverage AI and ML technologies, come find me. I'll be here all night. I'll be at happy hour after. Come find me. Let's have a chat. But that's enough for me. Let's get to the pitches. So first up, we have Tim Davies from Inervision Borehole Technologies. Did I get that right, Tim? Or oh, just about. Come on up.
Hello? Yes. Okay. This does work actually this way. We'll just see. Yes, it does. Okay, Tim Davies, Innervision Wellbore Technologies. Actually, it's Innervision Borehole Technologies, but we deal with boreholes and wellbores. What we've done is building a tool that will allow us to look through steel and cement down into the great depths of the earth and look at cracks in the cement and the rock that allow methane to flow to the surface. And these cracks can be networks of fractal patterns running up through the wellbore, the size of a human hair. And they're not like old technology to go and fix it. Oh, there's a hole, we'll fix that. It's not that simple. We've just had this well abandonment program, and our clients, our future clients, were not happy with the results because their wells are still leaking. So they need to get these things down. Here's our sponsors. COSIA, when we did our initial test with those guys, they said, we got to have this. All of our clients want it. So we went to each of the companies and they'll go, yeah, we need this, we need this, we need this. Chevron even said, we have an immediate, huge internal need now. So that was great. So I went and built the prototype, tested it on all their parts. And what we've got here is a picture of what was done on the left before. It was called logging. And what we've got is a picture of one of our pictures going through a piece of steel with a hole put in it, through and into cement. It just is a representative thing of what we do versus the new way versus the old way. Naturally, we can make it color. We do 18 different things. We do hyperspectral acoustics, synthetic aperture imaging. The AI was transferred from medical and radar. So it's a very integrated technology. We have about 3,000 wells a year to do in Alberta. And at 50K each, that's good coin. That's really good money. We look at here and we look at the number of jobs we need to do. This is not like human jobs created. This is work that our clients specifically want us to do. We have a low case and a high case. Maybe either one is a fantastic business. It's we're probably 8 months away from going in the first hole. That means we're 8 months and 2 days from commerciality. We do have a very large, massive clientele base that are all global leaders in their field and all are desperately trying to cut emissions as much as they can. They're solid supporters of the ESG movement. So we're really, really excited to be working with them in that they'll spare no expense at cutting emissions. It's just not a funny thing to them. You know, it's not, oh, maybe we'll do, well, maybe we'll comply. No, they're putting a lot of money in. They're paying for half of our testing, for God's sake. You know, it's a great thing. Other markets, geothermal, can't have a deep hot geothermal without wellbore integrity. And that's what we're all about. Carbon sequestering, hydrogen infrastructure even. We can see cracks in steel before there's a crack. We can tell the properties of the steel are changing. So we can do all kinds of things in other types of markets. Now, addressable markets, they're massive. It's $27 billion a year for our direct first product. In Alberta, we're probably at $200 million a year, basically, in our first product. And I say first product, obviously it leads to more things that they want you to see through, because we make things transparent. That's, you know, not just wellbores, right? But we need to focus on what we're doing and get it done. There's our use of funds. We hope to build a big company or sell to a big company. And the faster we get to profit, the faster we get the choice to do either one of those. We're highly focused on partnering with, there's our clients preferred distribution system. And we're in talks with 3 of those on the right-hand side of the picture right now. All of those on the left-hand side will be our clients. And so we're really, really focused on getting that job done. That's the team. Now, that's the thing. Someone talked scaling here before. I've done this a few times and I've scaled out. I usually exit, but I've gone scaled to about 250 people. I know I step to the back and do the science, make the tool. I put a team in place that has done it, has got the ability to do it, and has done it many times before. We've got a very high performance team. We're all about the product and making money and keeping the client happy and doing something good. You know, and I can say that honestly because I started out in the defense business, you know, and it's inherently high tech, but not necessarily overly positive. You know, this is very high tech, but very positive. So that is a story. That's what kind of like a tool looks like right now. We'd like to thank Foresight. We'd like to thank COSIA, NRC, IRAP, SDTC, and everybody else is giving us money. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Tim. Microphone's not on. Okay, let's hear it for Tim. I like to exit Davies. Okay, tell us a little bit about why your customers on the left side of that screen, why are they choosing you over the competition? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, they tried some of the competitive offerings and none of them do what our tool does in the completeness it does. And none of the people that want to, like our exit partners, all look and say, we don't have anything like that. Nobody has anything like that. We want it. And the fact that it reduces using 5 tools down to 1, it's 8 or 9 times the performance of any of our competitors. So it's at a price which is the same. We could say it's a higher price, but no, we make 75% net, on doing it that way. So it's good.
Well, so tell us a little bit about the business model. How do you make money? How are you structuring the product?
Yeah, so
sales?
the business model is a rental. We rent the tool with a crew per day for 50 grand a day. And then when we expand out, we have deployment partners. Our deployment partners are major service corporations. We will use them because they are expert at running complicated tools. I don't want to be in the coil tubing business. I don't want to be in the wireline business. I want to be in the sensor AI technology business, making the most we can out of that well.
And how are you using AI in this technology?
Well, what I did was I many years ago, I built a medical imaging system for breast cancer. And so what we did was we did tumor, not tumor, without being able to see a picture. We did it off the signals. So I thought, well, maybe that'll work here. Can I do it with steel and cement? Not quite as easy because, it's easier to get at people than it is at the bottom of wellbore. But I adapted it and it works. So it finds oddities in metals and cements without having to see them.
Amazing. Have you met our friends at Amy? I'm sure they'd love to work with you on your
Well,
AI technology.
Yeah. No,
All right, I think that's all we have time for. Let's hear it one more time for Tim. Thanks so much. Great start.
Excellent. Perfect. Excellent. Great job, Tim. Great way to kick us off. It's a great company. It's been great getting to know them over the last 8 weeks. And now on to our next one. We're going to bring up Yasmin from the Accelerate Fund to introduce our next contestant.
I like that, like a beauty pageant or something. Hi, everyone. My name is Yasmin. I'm an investment associate with Yale Town Partners. I work on the Accelerate Fund, which is a TNT bestie, and we're happy to be there. So what is Accelerate Fund? We are a $23 million pre-seed and seed stage fund that looks at Alberta-based businesses specifically. So our kind of investment thesis is B2B SaaS technologies, that's our bread and butter, but we're pretty open to other industries. We are agnostic at what we look at. So of course, the great entrepreneurs in this room are exactly our target audience. So come talk to me after the fact. We'd love to hear your story. I'm looking forward to the pitches, so I will cut my time there, but please help me introduce the next speaker, which is Chris from Innova Hydrogen.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Chris Bailey. I'm with Innova Hydrogen. We believe in clean energy for a cleaner future. For over a century, the natural gas industry has been exploring, drilling, producing, and building the infrastructure to provide affordable, reliable energy for all of North America. The challenge before us is with the onset of decarbonization and carbon taxes. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the challenge before us is to provide decarbonized, affordable, and reliable energy. And at Innova, we have the answer. We are producing a proprietary methane pyrolysis technology that produces clean hydrogen energy and graphite in a solid carbon form. We utilize the existing natural gas ecosystem and all the infrastructure that's currently in place, along with conventional and renewable electricity. From the top left, natural gas enters our process and we subject it to some heat and our proprietary catalyst. The methane molecule breaks down in our main reactor, and out the bottom, we get pure hydrogen, which can be used by consumers for decarbonized power generation, for transportation fuels, and for utility heating. And we also get the clean graphite, with a low carbon intensity, and it's locally produced. All of this is done with 0 water inputs, no oxygen, and we make no carbon dioxide emissions in the process. Both of our commodities are critical for the net zero transition. Hydrogen is widely recognized as the fuel of the future, and we're already seeing massive global investments in hydrogen production and end use projects. Graphite's also critical. It's got a robust economy right now in lubricants, plastics, composites, paints and dyes, but the explosion in battery demand is going to create a graphite supply crunch in the coming years. Having this additional revenue from the graphite gives the Innova's technology a serious economic advantage, and it allows us the pathway to affordable, reliable, decarbonized energy. We have numerous peers in the clean tech space, including other pyrolysis technology providers, steam methane reforming with CCUS, and electrolysis. But our process combines the best of all three. We utilize abundant natural gas and all that existing infrastructure. We create no carbon dioxide, so we eliminate the need for CCUS projects. We use no water, which is a scarce commodity in the world. And we create graphite, which the market's going to need. Our team is made up of energy industry veterans, serial entrepreneurs, technical advisors, and academic experts in the fields of nanomaterials, combustion, and process engineering. We are led by our fearless CEO, Cami Giles, who in a previous venture took a company public with a 5x exit in 2.5 years. And we've also just recently hired our Chief Technologies Officer, who didn't make the cut for this slide, but he's here in the audience. You want to wave? In 2 short years, we've achieved some significant milestones. Early on, we raised $2.1 million in seed financing, and were awarded $1.2 million in a MyTax grant with the University of Alberta. We've scaled up our prototype 200 times, and we've had it third-party validated. And then recently, we've achieved $400,000 from an NGIF grant and another $1 million from NRCan. We're currently developing our field pilot, which will be demonstrated in Calgary later this year, and then move to an industrial partner to P&G site in 2024. We've got other commercial projects on the horizon. So I want to thank you, and connect with me on LinkedIn up here, and together we can provide clean energy for a cleaner future.
Amazing. Thank you, Chris. So you've got a pilot coming up next, really exciting. What's the next stage to commercialization after your pilot?
So the pilot's going to have a 1-year operating cycle. And during that time, we'll learn some information on seasonal operations, what to do with the carbon, how to manage the safety around hydrogen. And all of that goes into a model for the next scale up.
Amazing. And the key component for you guys, your secret sauce, is the graphite. Can you tell us just a little bit more about the market for that?
Well, the graphite market's, like I said, is robust right now. It's got lots of uses, but the biggest opportunity is in the battery space. If you think of someone like, I don't know, Tesla that has a gigafactory, we can build a facility right on their parking lot to make them all the graphite they need.
I'm sure they would love it. Thank you so much again. Join me in congratulating Chris and Innova Hydrogen.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, it's my pleasure now to bring up Amy with our good friends at Alberta IoT to introduce the third pitch of the night. And investor Paul Toraville is going to be doing the Q&A. Just, you know, that was Dawn. She's been an amazing investor with us here over the winter too. So.
Excellent. Thanks, Neil. And first off, thanks so much to Startup TNT for having us here and part of this Cleantech Summit. It's wonderful to be here. My name's Amy Scullion. I'm Strategy and Operations Manager with Alberta IoT. And for those who haven't heard of us, we are a membership-based association focused on supporting scale-up businesses in the Alberta ecosystem and beyond. And as much as we do focus on IoT, you can't have IoT without the other technologies. So very much open to emerging technologies and supporting those scale-up businesses through things like our Fast Track Business Accelerator program. So if you're interested in learning more, please do feel free to reach out to myself, or my colleague Emma Duffy is here as well as some of our advisors. I'm waving to James, taking a photo at the back. But with that, I'm very excited to introduce our next pitcher. So we have James with MissionNet. So please join me in welcoming James.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Amy. Make sure this works the way I expect it to. I'm James Ingalls. I'm CEO of MissionNet. Our vision is to use energy infrastructure to ship data, not just fossil fuels. And our mission is to enable large-scale emissions and environmental monitoring, not just for the energy industry, but for the communities that the energy industry operates within. Now, in order to build something on this scale, we require an absolutely incredible team, one that has, knows the energy industry from end to end, whether it's the data collection right through to the AI analytics on the other side of it, as well as the executive leadership side. And that's team is exactly what we've built here. But I'll start with telling you a story that it really sets the stage for MissionNet. So in 2021, a major pipeline had a pressure safety valve release. Now, this isn't an uncommon occurrence. However, due to the location, it shut down a highway and was posted all over social media. It'll ultimately cost that pipeline over $3 million for a 2-hour event. But the worst part is that there was no way for them to know that it was happening until they got a phone call. So what could they have done? How could they have detected this? Well, I realize everyone's in the crowd, but satellite wouldn't have worked. You can't get real-time equipment-specific insights from a snapshot type technology. So we'll focus on continuous emissions monitoring. And the predominant one here is fixed perimeter sensors. And the design for that is to surround the facilities in sensitive equipment to detect the emissions as they exit the facility and then back calculate using algorithms to the equipment that is coming from or quantify the facility itself. However, in recent years of testing, these technologies have been described at best as smoke alarms. So they'll tell you that there's methane in the area, but right now they can't tell you what equipment it's coming from or necessarily that's coming from your facility. So on the market, currently, there's no cost-effective way to get equipment level insights into your emissions. And that's really what we're designing at MissionNet. And from my background of designing high criticality sensor systems for these rugged areas where the energy industry operates, you always start simple and you can layer on complexity from there. And that's really kind of how we've designed MissionNet. And so we're starting off with low cost emissions, IoT emission sensors mounted at high probability leak points. And what that does for us is that we can, sorry, I saw you smile and it threw me, I don't know why. So what that does for it is it allows us to mitigate the carbon tax exposure for our customers, while also setting a base layer of emissions monitoring that's not only scalable, but it's maintainable. And it solves that root cause problem that led to the story that I started with. And then from there, we can start layering on complexity, whether we want to start quantifying the facility by meshing sensors, etc. But what really differentiates MissionNet is that once we have the communications equipment mounted at these facilities, we can bring in any kind of data. We're not beholden to emissions. And that means that we can offset the cost of our emissions monitoring system so that we can enable these other high value energy industry use cases. And that really separates us from our competitors because we don't have to underpin our economics on the volatile carbon policy. But what we've discovered through our testing is that we're bringing in data from up to 30 kilometers away from these antennas that we've mounted at the energy infrastructure. And that enables us to not only blanket the pipeline in the case of our pilot, but also the areas that the pipelines are operating in. And so we can diversify our revenue streams by tapping into those other high growth markets like smart agriculture. And that realization has led to our business model, in which MissionNet owns and operates the network infrastructure, really leading to our end vision of owning and operating North American emissions and environmental monitoring. And so we underpin that network through high value energy industry use cases, and then we supplement our returns with the other use cases in the area. A great indication of our market traction is that we've had a pilot with TC Energy since within a year of founding. And through that pilot, we've demonstrated our security, our range, and our reliability. Now we're moving into testing our emissions and agricultural use cases. So our ask, and you can see my not so subliminal message that I copy and pasted in there accidentally. Our ask is $700,000, and that'll give us an 18-month runway to a large-scale commercial demo. Ultimately, that'll lead to our revenue-generating phase, and will be perfectly timed to capture the energy industry market through the scramble for emissions monitoring. Thank you.
All right. Big hand for James. Thanks very much, James.
Yeah, it was a little rocky, but
No,
we made it through.
all right. So we've had, as investors, a lot of opportunity to ask a lot of questions over the past few weeks here. One of the questions I haven't asked, though, is why you and why now?
Well, I don't know I'd pin it on my social speaking skills or my presentation skills, but you know, on the surface, it seems really simple. Well, we're gonna, you know, put these low cost IoT sensors on high menu points and we'll all shake hands and go home and we've solved the problem. But the reality is that's the easy piece. All the work starts afterwards. And so in order to actually build a system that works, you need to understand, you know, IoT, you need to understand the operational context of oil and gas, you know, cybersecurity, everything you have to put in until you get to the corporate systems or the corporate analytics systems of these companies. And so having people that understand all those pieces is very rare, and they tend to come out of the energy industry. And we happen to have 2 of those, if you want to call them unicorns, on our team, but that's still not good enough, just having that technical context. You also need, you know, to get in the front door to these very risk-averse companies. And that's really where Jason Balish and Kevin Krauser come in. You know, they're trusted in the industry, and they've demonstrated, you know, operating these companies on this scale, and they can get us in that front door and talking to, you know, the right people. So that's the people piece. And then on the timing aspect, that's huge for us as well, in that, you know, the ultimate vision, we can't lose sight of, you know, the goal to blanket North America in low-cost sensor communications via the energy industry's infrastructure. But in order to scale and deploy at that level, you need a use case, right? To bring you through that, one that's, you know, has industry demand, that your technology can help solve. And emissions is that, and it's scaling up over the next 18 months. So our timing is perfect to nail when those regulations tighten and they're scrambling for an emissions solution, so we can be there and scale with that.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, James.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Thank you, James. All right, great presentation. And up next, we are going to have ask to the stage Mateo from CBRE for our next contestant.
Perfect, thank you. Really excited to be here today. I'm Mateo, I'm with CBRE. We're a commercial real estate brokerage in the city here, and I'm an office broker. My job as an office broker is to make your life as easy as possible. So we work hand in hand with our clients to provide them the best solutions for their real estate requirements, whether that's leasing new space, purchasing, subleasing, or trying to recoup some capital with leasing out your own space. Right now is a really challenging time in the office market. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to chat about that. Reach out to a broker, get in touch. They're always the experts. So I'm here to present Don from Kynetic Energy.
This is the clicker, I take it. Oh, good. First of all, I just want to set everyone's expectations. I am an accountant. I'm not a marketing guy. And so don't expect, you know, some real fancy speeches. And please, no one's smiling at me. I don't want to get pitched off my my little train of thought here. And finally, Neil, I'm really sorry. Neil said everyone was going to wear blue jeans to this presentation, and I forgot to tell him that as a CPA, as an accountant, we can't wear blue jeans. So these are about as casual as I get. So having said all that, the expectation has been set. So now I will tell you a little bit about Kynetic Energy Solutions.
It's not very difficult. We produce a 5 kilowatt vertical access wind turbine. Not a lot of power, but enough power for certain markets. Our certain market is telecommunication towers. Off-grid communication towers, there's apparently about 1.5 million of them throughout the world. And they're dependent on diesel generated electricity, which is polluting the air and is very expensive. So that's why we developed this product, and that was our target market, but it also will be able to handle any other remote type of customers. So if you're a First Nation up in the middle of nowhere and your diesel generated power to power your community, or if you're a mine, those are the kind of customers that we're looking for. Do we have a technical difficulty here? Did I pick hitting this?
That should be.
We are having tech.
Did you know Don flew here from Manitoba this morning? Just a little bit of appreciation for the third prairie province over from us, coming all the way to Edmonton to hang out with you guys tonight. And he also brought his co-founder. Where is he? Hey, there he is. Yeah. So we have two folks from Manitoba, at least in attendance. Anybody else from Manitoba? Jade, that's not Manitoba. Sorry. All right, it looks like we're good to go again. So I'm going to give this back to Don.
Okay. Bingo. Thank you very much. So this picture here, and again, the other assumption I'm making is that you can all read. So I may not be reading these things word for word, but I'll sort of give you the highlights of each of the slides. So here is who we are, okay? And if you notice there, we have replicated a communication tower setting. This is our test site. So we have 5 kilowatts of solar. We have our 5 kilowatt vertical access wind turbine. And in the background is a telecommunication tower that these two items power. We also have a set of buildings there that will measure and monitor all of the power, the wind speeds, the power you're getting out of it, all the things that a customer should know or would like to know when considering our product. So we were established in 2019. We recently set up a European joint venture in 2021. And we did that because Europe actually is 5 years ahead of North America in the renewable energy and the drive to become green. So we set up that joint venture, and actually I'll tell you in a little while some things that have emanated from that. So what we provide, as I mentioned, the 5 kilowatt vertical access wind turbine, and what it does is it provides power. And it provides power where it's needed, right? The remote areas, or if you're off grid. And it saves money because if you are off grid and you need to connect to the grid, it can cost around $10,000 a kilometer to connect to the grid. So you're saving the customer that, and you're saving the grid, because the grid is usually the one that pays for that and amortizes it over everyone else. So those are the main things that we do and what we provide. And because we don't emit any CO2, we are also climate positive. So the advantages, well, we have a patented design. We use a patented, I gotta get this right here, Savonius Darius blade design. And what that does is it allows us to capture wind from any direction and turn our turbine. So our turbine will turn as in wind speeds as low as 3 meters per second, which is like 10 kilometers per second or per hour. That is very minimal power. So we're always generating power. It's going into hopefully a battery bank to be used as the device or the tower or the customer requires. We have lots of experience. Eve and I have been in the industry for, oh God, many years. In fact, Eve and we first met, I was a CFO for a remote First Nation in Manitoba, and we put in a project to the government of Canada to be one of the first First Nations to bring high-speed internet into the community. And Eve was the guy that designed the system, climbed the towers, put up the radios, and like I said, this was a very unique and interesting project. I'm sure there's many such projects afterwards, but that's how Eve and I met. So very experienced in the industry that we're trying to service. As well, we also use Red River College Polytech to help us with some of the technical designs that we're working on, and they've been really good at helping us where we need technical advice. And we have established connections. I briefly mentioned it before. Last year we were in Europe, and we were invited to a conference in Paris called the Next Generation Mobile Network Conference. And all of the telco, or kind of wrap it up. Okay, this is important because while we were in Europe, we were invited to go to Vodafone's conference in Luxembourg. They awarded us the winner of a competition to provide them with a proof of concept to do 600 communication towers that they're looking to make green. So we're just working with our engineers right now to set up the first one. And then after that, they're going to hopefully do more green towers throughout Europe. And so this is a top view of a typical wind and solar installation. This is what our turbines could be mounted on existing communication towers. You could either design it when you're building your tower or afterwards post installation. And this is, we started using the SKF bearing to improve the power output of our turbine. Somehow NASA heard about it and they started using it on their Mars rover. So when we heard that they were using our SKF bearing, we are now in the process of reaching out to them to maybe do a joint venture where we'll do our first interplanet installation on Mars. We haven't heard anything back from them yet, but we're hopeful. Okay. And then in summary, so I think I've gone through most of this, but and there probably won't be a test at the end of this presentation. But basically, we have a 5 kilowatt vertical access wind turbine that's ready for market. There's a huge market out there. We're in the cusp of starting up a sales contract in Europe. We hope to bring that back into North America as well. So that's what we do with our experienced people. Our advisory board helps us with all of the connections that they have in the industry. And without further ado, I will say thank you.
Thanks very much, Don. So I'm an investor from Saskatoon. Tom Kistruck's my name. This is my 5th summit, second Cleantech summit, so happy to be here. Thanks for the presentation, Don. We're short on time, so I'm just going to highlight a couple of things that I saw as an investor doing due diligence. So we know that there's a lot of opportunity for markets in Canada. Your beachhead is in Europe at the moment, but there's a lot of opportunities in First Nations, remote infrastructure, other locations. The other thing that was a highlight for me is where you've gone to get some of your technology. You mentioned the SKF bearing. That comes out of the aerospace industry. So you're based in Winnipeg, and that's in the heart of aerospace in Canada. So good work to connect with that system and apply it to what you're doing.
Yeah,
So-
we use contract manufacturers from the aerospace industry, so that's top quality.
Thanks very much.
Too long?
All right, everybody, we have one pitch left tonight. I'd like to bring Jennifer from our amazing friends at SCTC on stage to introduce the next one. And asking questions is going to be TNT investor Austin from Calgary.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Startup TNT, for having me here today to represent SCTC. SCTC is a federal foundation of the federal government. And with that endowment from the federal government, we fund promising clean tech companies in Canada. So we have funding programs to support companies from seed to scale. So if you are interested in learning more, please talk to me after the pitches. It is my great pleasure to present our next pitch, Gada Nafi, that is leading Litus.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all today. Thank you very much. My name is Gada Nafi, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Litus. At Litus, we are developing breakthrough nanotechnology to create energy solutions that are more abundant, more accessible, more efficient, and more environmental. And we're starting with Litus Inc. to extract lithium. Well, the world needs lithium, no question about that. With auto manufacturers transitioning to EVs by 2025 or 2030, it has driven a huge demand of lithium by 500%. Lithium is deemed a strategic resource and a key element for governments, NGOs, and industries to curb climate change. Unfortunately, existing technologies that can extract lithium are either not efficient, they cannot extract more than 50%, or they are very environmentally challenging, or they simply cannot scale. And there are new resources with lithium, but unfortunately, they're very dilute. That means the concentration of lithium is too low, and there's simply no existing technology to extract that lithium today. At Litus, we've developed a series of nanomaterials combined with a process to extract lithium from these low concentrations and challenging brine sources. And we do it with high efficiency and unmatched purity and selectivity. It is a technology that has been developed specifically to work at the commercial operating conditions and are able to scale. It is also a clean technology that leaves a minimal environmental footprint. We can make the build of 10 billion electric vehicles possible through unlocking 7 trillion of lithium. And that helps brings the goals of environmental leaders and governments closer to reality. We have compared to other competition and other companies who are trying to do the same thing. Yes, it is a busy space. And we found that our technology is less than 50% in both operating and capital costs, far more environmental and robust. And we have the team that can just make it happen. We are a team with deep technical expertise, nanochemists, scientists, material experts who have the experience and the history of bringing technologies from lab scale to commercial scale, joined by also the business side to help grow a company and a board of directors to ensure corporate governance and provide financial advising. Well, our beachhead market focuses on low concentration sources. Those are in oil fields and geothermal sources, and that's a $4 billion per year market. And going into the broader lithium market of 150 billion per year. And from that, we have 3 revenue streams. One is licensing our technology for the lithium extraction, selling our nanomaterials, and also through the build, operate, and transfer of the plants. We have been working very closely with our customers, and yes, we do have paying customers today. We're bringing some revenue to test these brines and the feasibility of their work with our technology, and we're very excited that these customers are expediting us into pilot testing. And we have a demo partner who we're working with building a larger portable unit that can go on the field right here in Alberta. We have scaled our technology twice and are excited about the next one. And I just want to say that our technology is not just a lithium extraction technology, it is a platform technology that works for other battery metals that are deemed strategic. Actually, right now we're going through the process of filing a patent for a second strategic component for the energy transition that will be equally exciting to lithium. We also work on other lithium sources such as clays and hard rock mining. And we're developing other technologies with the focus on lithium. We are fundraising right now, and we're looking to grow our team and expedite our developments and grow the company. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much, Gada. My name is Austin Bank. Did I get it right, Gada?
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
Fantastic. So a couple questions for you. One, you said you scaled a couple times. Can you talk about how big the first one was, how big the second one is?
Absolutely. So we've gone from lab scale, and our lab units were really small, and a lot of the technologies kind of stumble with those scale ups. We have implemented a strategy and a plan in place for those scale ups, and we've gone to a bench unit that's able to process. It's about 4 times the lab scale, and from that we're able to process quite a lot with actually better than expected performance. So we had a theoretical expectation and an experimental based on how we performed in the lab, and we were more than twice that amount in our ability to extract lithium. So it seems that the larger we grow, the better we do in extraction. And then we went to a mini pilot unit that's able to operate in continuous mode for multiple cycles.
What was one of the biggest challenges you guys had scaling up?
Right now, we just moved to a new place, so the space was a challenge, and we're still growing. And now we're looking at building a large demo unit. So I'd say a space and finding a lab was challenging. It's one thing to be a technology that can work from an office and you can find tons of places, and another to be based on a wet lab that requires those experimental, experiments and to conduct all that work. And to find that space in Calgary was not very easy for us. But we're lucky now we are at one. So
Cool. And you mentioned a mobile unit that you guys are working on right now. How long do you think that'll take you guys to build and deploy? And what challenges do you foresee kind of coming across or having to overcome in that process?
Great question. Thanks, Austin. So with our next unit, we're looking to about between 8 to 10 months to build that unit. We have a demo partner, and we're working very closely with our customers to place it on the field. And some of the challenges would be really supply chain and being able to bring all the parts we need in time to put it together without any delays.
Cool. Great. Thank you very much. Great pitch. Everyone, give a round of applause.
Thank you.
It's Litus.
Wow, there we have it. 5 pitches, and we were 3 minutes overdue. Way better than Zach and Tim. Way better to be on time. Hey? So anyways, you know what? It is very difficult to come up here. We saw 5 impressive companies. One of them had a little technical difficulty, still ran through it. It's fun to see that. It's real world. And you know what? Let's have another round of applause for these 5 companies. And people always ask us, why are we doing this? You know why we do it? Obviously, because we want to support more these companies more than financially. We're investors. We're clients. We can introduce them to somebody. And that's what makes the Alberta, in my opinion, one of the best communities to ever work in. And this will slide across the prairies. I've been involved in this community for 8 years, and it is priceless. I talk on many podcasts. Everybody envies Alberta. So that is because of you guys. It's because of the companies. And you know what? Thank you, everybody who's here. So give yourself a round of applause too. Thank you.
All right, so next steps are we are going to get the startup TNT investors to meet Jade and I over here, and then we're going to go do some deliberations for 45 minutes-ish, and between 45 and 60 minutes. And the rest of you, have fun, make some friends. There's drinks, there's food, there's lots of amazing and interesting people in the room. Stretch your legs. We're going to be back in about 45 minutes to an hour, and we're going to invest in at least one of these companies, which is going to be super exciting. So thank you all for your patience, and we'll see you soon.
Oh.
I won't let you go. Oh, Paris, I won't let you go. Oh, Paris, I won't let you go. Oh, Paris, I won't let you go. 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 Paris, I won't let you go.
All right.
Hello.
Who's ready? Who's ready to hear a big announcement?
Zach, round them up in there.
Yeah. Come
Zach,
have a
that's
seat,
your job.
everybody.
Chief, round them up.
That's right. Come have a chair, everybody. Grab a drink. Be ready to celebrate. Hopefully you met some amazing people over the last hour.
Good networking, good conversations. That's what we're here for. And to hand out some money.
And comfy chairs. I like that Tim got it right at the beginning, and he's managed to keep it.
I hope you
the whole
moved, Tim,
time.
at least once.
Yeah. Did you get up?
Okay, good.
That's great. What's that? Champagne. It's up there on the table already. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, you betcha. I don't know. I think
All right, how we doing?
like symbolic. Yeah, totally. Oh, sorry, that was my fault.
Way to go, Neil. Way to go, Neil. Rookie. Zach would have done that. Tim maybe, Zach no.
All right, I think we got most everybody from the bar area into the main area. I can feel the energy.
All right. Well, we'll just start this off here. And again, we're just going to do short remarks on why we do this. Again, it's to bring awareness to the companies. It's to bring awareness to introduce new investors into our ecosystem. Pitch parties are all across Western Canada. We've expanded in, we've gone into Saskatchewan. We've been into Manitoba. Five parties across the Great Prairies. And this is why we're here. We're here to have fun, build companies, and make friends. And in the end, that's the bottom line. And everybody in this room can help.
Yeah, I want to talk about what else is happening here tonight. So over the prairies, we have over 80 investors, 15 pitches. I know this is just what we did here tonight, but there's over 80 investors that have been making decisions over the last hour. 15 pitches happened over the last couple hours. There's going to be at least 3 winners. And over 800 tickets are sold to support prairie startup companies in the clean tech, life science, and ag spaces, which is pretty amazing, right? That's just people that want to do what you're doing here now. So thanks for clapping for yourselves. And then in terms of Startup TNT, we are launching a VC fund. So we're raising a $5 million fund to help these companies move from this pre-seed seed stage, what Tim calls the awkward teenager phase of fundraising, through to Series A. And I think it's going to be a really impactful way of supporting these companies beyond the angel investing phase. And then we can't do it alone. I know we talked about these people again, but I want to hear another round of applause for the amazing folks at Foresight who sponsored our third son. David, I don't know where you are in the room. I lost you. Raise a hand. Hopefully you can meet him. We have great organizing partners, great funding partners, and we're really grateful for them all.
I also just wanted to, Herm is here, and I just wanted to bring one thing out that we were on a trip into Austin, Texas, and we had our own personal Thursday night party there. So it has made it to the States already, to Texas.
Absolutely. And a couple quick thank yous just before we get to the announcements, just while I have your captive attention. I want to thank our ops team. We have Dom and Jonah over here. They're working hard. Did you know they're coordinating all three across the prairies from that little booth there with all the distractions and with me pestering them every 5 seconds to get stuff done. Our AV team, you guys have done an amazing job. Everything's gone so smoothly, so thank you for that. Our event planner, Jocelyn, who has been doing an incredible amount of work from
Where's Jocelyn?
Yeah, where's Jocelyn? From medical emergencies to making sure this happens, and she is just a lovely, lovely person. To this amazing space we're in. Adam, where are you? I lost everybody over the break here. Thank you, Adam and Amy, for letting us be here tonight. It's been a total privilege.
And more, not most important, but it could not happen without the investors throughout the Prairie provinces here tonight. Thank you for donating, not donating, but investing in the companies here. Oh, it's just yours, Austin, just yours. I'm still in donation mode from this morning's speech, but yeah, I mean, it can't happen without you and following the vision of Zach and Tim, and thank you guys for putting this in together. And I mean, it is making a difference, and there's a reason why investment in Alberta is going up and up and up. We're going to have thousands of people watching this, investors online that are going to put these companies on their sheets and say, we're going to follow up on them. Maybe it's in the next round, maybe it's at Series A, but they saw them here at Startup TNT first. So we are making a big, big difference in the Alberta ecosystem. So thank you to everybody.
All right, so now at this point in the program, you're all ready to hear who the winner is. But before we do that, I got one more thing. There is a good friend of mine, a good friend of many people in here, whose name is Dom, who's going to be leaving us here soon. And I want to invite Dom onto the stage to announce who the 2023 Cleantech winner is. He's got an envelope and everything. He's probably going to be mediocrely pleased that we're doing this, but let's give him a big round of applause because he's an amazing human being.
All right, thank you, Neil. I appreciate it. This is a very big moment, and I'm sure everyone's been waiting for it. 9 weeks, actually. It's a hellish long time behind the scenes. Many investors also went through a long enduring process, but I'm ready. I'm ready, Jade.
All right, let's have a little drum roll. Hey,
A drum roll. Okay. So the winner for the Cleantech Summit, our third Cleantech Summit, is Inervision Borehole.
Inervision.
Sorry, Inervision Borehole.
Come on up, Tim and Mike. I see you over there. Come on up, bring the team.
Yeah.
I got champagne and we'll let you say a few words.
Come on up, guys.
Good job.
Amazing.
Good job.
Tim, you're a man of few words, I know, but do you want to share something with the audience?
In the beginning.
You have another, bring everyone.
Thank you, everyone. This has been a fantastic program. We've with Alberta Innovates, with IRAP, with SDTC, with Foresight, with COSIA, with TNT. I mean, I don't even know what to begin. This is fantastic. This is really great. And this may get us over the line. This investment will see us complete this project. well-funded, and go forward. And I can just say thank you to everyone. Thank you for the, actually, the very helpful due diligence. I must say, it was great being scrutinized. Well, no, wait, you know, the thing is you find out what's wrong with you, you know what I mean? And so criticism from seasoned investors is always welcome. And we really appreciate the process and the people coming out tonight. So thank you very much and cheers to everyone. And we won.
All right. We just wanted to say one more thing is, I've been involved and Neil's been involved in all 3 Cleantech Summit, and this was by far the toughest decision we've ever had. And we'll take a quick picture here and then we have another announcement.
Yeah, we're just going to take a picture. We're going to keep you guys in suspense.
Hold that check up.
All right, congratulations, you guys. That's amazing.
Congrats. Great job. And we're here to announce 2 side deals. So I'll announce one, and we are very proud to announce that we will be also investing in GATA and Litus. Come on up.
Come on up, GATA. All right, we got one more group. So I would like to invite the team from MissionNet up. These are the 3 companies that we have confirmed side deals for. The investors are going to do more work over the next week, so there might be more added. But we have MissionNet, Litus, and Inervision as the winners. So. All right, thank you, everybody. This was an amazing evening, but it's not over. There's tons of amazing people here to meet. Have a ton of fun. Zach would like to come up and say a word, it looks like, because I can't understand what he's trying to tell me. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, can we just give a huge round of applause for Neil and Jade coming up here from Calgary, showing us how it's done, wearing the fanciest shoes we've ever seen.
First time Edmonton's ever been on time.
And listen, we're all going to Red Star at about 9 o'clock. So don't go home. We're going to Red Star. We're going to take over Red Star. A lot more fun to have tonight. Thanks, everybody. It's been a great night.
Love it.
Yes.
Tough decision. It was closest ever.
Far enough for you guys. I don't know who wants to.